Hi, so my name is Oster, and I was asked to make a video talking about some teachings and things that I've learned from my family and the elders in my life. And when I was asked this, the first person I jumped to is, and probably always will be, my grandpa. My grandpa was an amazing man. He taught me to be proud of who I am as a Métis person, to never be ashamed of being Métis. He taught me to be proud and love my family and my community and my culture. And it's kind of funny because I remember him as a quiet man, but he was also a man who loved to visit. He loved to talk. He loved to be social. And he really instilled that in me. I'm naturally a pretty introverted person, but he always reminded me that everyone has a story and everyone has a voice to be heard and to be proud of, and he wanted to talk to everyone. He wanted to be friends with everyone. He wanted to hear everyone's stories. And so I really always looked up to that, and I still do. And it's something I try to remember to do more. Another story I remember is when I was a kid, he wanted to take me and my whole family to Batoche to learn more about who we were and who our ancestors were. So we went back to Batoche days, but I live in a small town, or I used to live in a small town in Alberta, and Batoche is of course by Saskatoon and Saskatchewan, so it was about a 6-hour drive. And for the entire drive there and the entire drive back, he played the same Métis fiddle music CD. And at the time, I didn't know that that was specifically Métis fiddle music. I thought my grandpa just really liked the violin. But he played the same Métis fiddle music CD the entire way back. And there was 5 of us crammed into a 5-seater car. And so for about 12 hours there and back, we just listened to that same 10 Métis fiddle songs. And those songs will be forever ingrained into my brain. At every event, at every party I go to, when I hear those songs, it takes me back to that drive where we drove and we camped at Batoche and we experienced Métis culture and other Métis people, and it was so much fun. And now anytime I go back, I just remember that first time, and I'm really happy that my grandpa thought to take the whole family there. It was an amazing trip, even if the music got a little boring after a while.
Hello. My name is Braden Doyle, and I am a Communications Coordinator at Métis Nation of Alberta. As a Métis youth, I think something that brings us all together is our unique differences and our unique backgrounds. Having said that, I would like to share a piece of my own. Maurice Menard was an interpreter and legal fur trader, a voyageur who married a Métis Madeleine Coup around 1692 in Fort Michilimackinac. Her mother was an Algonquin First Nations and her father a French fur trader, Pierre Coup. The fort appears to have been their home base since at least 5 of their children were born there. As a family, Menards and Coups were well-known and successful fur traders. Three of Maurice Menard's sons, Antoine, Louis, and Francois, were traders as well. A nephew, Etienne Demers, son of Jean-Francois Menard, and Clement Etienne Demers were also engaged in the trade. They are ancestors as well. Maurice Menard and Madeleine Coup's eldest daughter, Margrethe, who was born in the fort as an ancestor, married to Pierre Calliou in 1706. She is an ancestor in the Cameron line. This Menard family appeared to have lived in the fort from the time of the marriage in 1692 through to the end of the century. 4 children were born at the outpost, but the 5th child, a son called Pierre, was born in Boucherville, as well as their next child. A subsequent child, Francois, was born at the outpost in 1709. The years the family is in Boucherville coincides with the time the widowed elderly Jacques Menard was living at his last years. Jacques Menard died in Boucherville in January 1709. I believe the youth and seniors gathering is crucial and vital to the Métis narrative in Alberta. I believe being in touch with our ancestors and being well known and well versed about our history helps us to move forward, because it shows us the sacrifice and the strength that our ancestors and our grandparents had. Thank you.
My name is Devin Quintal and I'm from Zone 4. I'd have to say one of my favorite memories is at one of our Christmas breakfasts. all of the elders got together, they threw their sashes on, and they all tried to perform a jig. Unfortunately for our family, none of us have any rhythm in our bodies, so it was a complete disaster. But it was something that we're all kind of proud of because they tried their best. Not long after that, I was able to watch professional jiggers dance, and man, did they ever make our family look bad. But that was such a cool experience to watch and to learn from after, and that is always something that makes me smile.
Hello, my name is Lorie White, and I am the Provincial Project Coordinator for the Youth Programs and Services Department with the Metis Nation of Alberta. I want to welcome you to the 5th Annual Youth and Seniors Gathering. Although it is held virtually this year, we want to thank you all for tuning in today. I hope you enjoy all the wonderful videos and entertainment that we have set up for you. I wanted to send a thank you to all the MNA youth team for all the hard work that was put into planning and running this event. Thank you to all the citizens who submitted videos, shared their stories with us, and entered our contests. I hope you guys win. I'm looking forward to watching all of those videos. Thank you to the communications team and the AV company as well for making this all come together. There was a lot of hard work that went into planning this event, and I hope you guys all enjoy it. I wanted to share with you a story from a Métis event that I had gone to. It was actually before I started working with the MNA, so it was summer of 2019, and my boyfriend had invited me out to go camping with his family. It was for his granny's birthday, and he was telling me it was at Métis Crossing and that they were doing Voyager days. So I was like, sure, like it should be a fun weekend. I took the weekend off work, and we went out there, and it was a great weekend. The weather was fantastic. It was nice and hot and sunny. We had our tent set up. We got there pretty late on one of the nights, but we were able to sit by the fire and hang out with his family. I got to know everybody. It was a great time. So on the Saturday, I think it was, they had some entertainment set up at the stage there, and they were running another table. Then they had like another station set up for the Voyager races. So my boyfriend had signed up, and he was helping his uncle kind of do the setup for the Voyager races, and he asked if I was going to sign up. So I signed my name up thinking I was going to do it. I had been working out a lot that summer, and I felt confident in my lifting skills, I should say, but not super confident to do it in front of my boyfriend and my new boyfriend and his family. So I ended up going back to the table and scratching my name out of the list of names there, and my boyfriend, he was like, well, what did you do that for? And he after a little pep talk, he convinced me to write my name back down, and he wrote my name back down on the list. And the way, if you haven't been to Voyager days or done the Voyager races, the way they had them set up was there was a big hay bale. I don't remember how much it weighed, maybe 50 pounds. I'm not sure. And you carry that hay bale. It had some straps on it, and you carry it on your back, and you carry it for a short distance. And then there's these 2 milk cans, like the big milk cans, and then you carry those, and then you loop back around it. So it's like, I don't know, I want to say a 10 to 15 feet distance that you're carrying these objects. Then the last one you carry is a log, and the women's log I think was around 100 to 150 pounds, and the men's log was like somewhere close to 300 pounds. I don't remember the exact weights of all of the things. But then you carry the log. So I pick up the log, and it was actually not as heavy as I expected, and I surprised myself with my strength, and carry that log, and then you go and shoot at a target with I want to say a BB gun, but it's a pellet gun, that's what it is. So you shoot at the target with a pellet gun, and you only get 3 shots. So I managed to hit it in the first shot, and I was all out of breath because you're carrying all these heavy things, and you're like shaking, but I managed to hit the target in my first shot, and They had planned to do it, I think, as like an actual race where you're racing against somebody, but they didn't have enough equipment, so they ended up timing everybody for the event, and I ended up getting the fastest time, so I won. And the prize was a cash prize, which I was like, oh great. So I ended up going out and buying some fireworks and setting them off later that night for my boyfriend's granny's birthday, for all the kids that were there. It was a great time. I really enjoyed it. I really do hope that in the future we can resume in-person programming. Later that fall, I had seen a posting for the provincial project coordinator with the Métis Nation, and I thought, you know what, I had such a good time. It was a time for a change in my position from where I was at before. So I applied and I got the job. And I've been really enjoying working for the Métis Nation. And I really hope you guys enjoy this event that we have set up for you. And I hope you enjoyed my story. Hi. Thank you. Take care, everyone.
Hello, I'm Lyle Quintel. Belong to the Region 4 Métis family. And I'm very proud to have this moment to share a family memory which is near and dear to my heart and to my 5 siblings. Every year we get together at my parents' for Christmas breakfast. That started in 1948, and in the ensuing years, as the family got larger, we had to move into different venues, but the tradition carried on every year. Christmas breakfast, we'd all meet, and everybody kind of a potluck breakfast, and after a few storytellings and lots of laughter, we'd clear off the dance floor and throw on some jigging tunes, and we'd have quite a little dance party going with the family. We're very, very fortunate that my family lives all close to the area here in Calliou, and our family has been here for over 100 years, so we have lots of history and roots in the area, and we're very fortunate to have a large family and to be able to share our stories and memories with lots of family get-togethers. Unfortunately, with Christmas breakfast last year due to COVID, we couldn't meet, but we met virtually, and we're still able to enjoy lots of stories and laughter via our telephones and social media. So as a person getting into my older years here, that's a memory that will always stick in my mind, and looking forward to keeping the tradition going along with my kids and my family. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Maddie Quintel. I'm an M&A youth from Region 4, and I'm the manager of youth programs and services. Working with the M&A, I have so many fond memories of youth camps and family camps and cultural workshops. But one of my favorite personal family memories is my family would get together every Christmas to do a big Christmas breakfast, and last year there was around 70 of us. Our family is quite large, which I'm so proud of. We would gather at this hall and we would have breakfast and laugh and tell stories and just be with one another. And of course, somebody would always turn on some jigging music, and we would move the tables and chairs away, and we would all jig together, and it would immediately turn into such a big dance party. And then other members of the community would just show up because it was an open house type of feel. Anyone was welcome as long as they had their dancing shoes on. So I'm so proud of that, and I'm so happy to share that with everyone. I hope everyone is staying safe and healthy, and I hope I can get back to having dance parties with my family. Enjoy the gathering.
Hi, I'm Sammy Quintel from Region 4. I would have to say my favorite Métis memory that I can recall is at our traditional family Christmas breakfast. My dad and a bunch of his older cousins and his uncles and a bunch of our relatives all got together. They received their Métis sashes, and they learned a traditional Métis dance. And once they got the hang of it, they taught all of the younger generation, including myself and my younger cousins, all how to do that dance as well. It was a lot of fun.
Hi, my name is Skylin, and today I'm going to be sharing a story with you that was shared to me through my great-grandparents. My great-grandparents are both in their 80s, And I love my grandparents so much. I'm literally obsessed with them. I spend so much time with them. I love visiting with them. When I get to visit with them, they always share so many stories with me and they teach me so many things. So I'm very excited today to share the story that they shared with me. This is a story about my great-grandmother Annie. My great-grandmother Annie was from Kelly Lake, BC, and she used to have a hunting camp in the Tumbler area where they would go hunting, fishing, they would go pick berries every year. So one year, my grandma was in her 60s. They were at the hunting camp and she went to go pick berries. While she was picking berries out from the camp, she had her dog and she took a gun with her, thankfully. While she was picking her berries, she heard these noises behind her, and when she turned around, there was 3 grizzly bears. So one of the grizzly bears started to attack my grandmother and ended up swiping her, and when he swiped her, it ended up cutting her scalp really bad, and she couldn't really see because all this blood was pouring onto her face from her cut. So she grabbed her gun, and when she grabbed her gun, she shot at the direction of the bears, but because she couldn't really see, and I feel like all this adrenaline was going through her and everything was happening so fast that she didn't really know what was going on. So my grandma decided to lay down and play dead. Her dog ended up chasing away the 2 grizzly bears, and the one that attacked her, my grandmother ended up killing when she shot at the bear. And so after she didn't hear any more noises, she got up and she had to walk all the way back to the camp where her husband and everyone else was. So she had to walk back. She had this big cut on her head. She couldn't see. Her face was all bloody. She had to walk back. She was losing so much blood. She was pretty hurt. Once she got to the camp, they started to help her and they had to horse and wagon her out of the camp and back to Kelly Lake. And then after they took her back to Kelly Lake, they had to take her to the nearest hospital to get her help. My great-great-grandpa, when he went back to the camp, they wanted to go see where all this happened. And they ended up finding the grizzly bear, and it was a huge grizzly bear. They ended up taking a picture of how big the grizzly bear was, and yeah, I just think this story is so crazy because my grandma was in her 60s, she got attacked by a grizzly bear, and she survived. My grandmother lived to be 95 years old. I just can't even imagine going through that experience, and I just think it's such a crazy story, but it's so amazing that she went through that and she survived that.
Growing up, I was fortunate enough to be immersed in my Métis culture at a young age. Every year, my family would gather at a summer campout. Sometimes this would be the only time throughout the year that I would get to see my cousins. We would laugh, we would dance, and we would connect over the fire and just being out on the land. My grandma always taught us the importance of family and laughter. These memories and teachings is something that I'll always be thankful for. Community and laughter are so important in our Métis culture, and I will always be proud to be Métis.
Okay, hi again. I'll continue with another story about Wisaki Jack again, but I just want to mention that where I learned these stories was from my Grandma Josephine Johnson, years and years ago in Paddle Prairie. She used to like to have us. She used to like to tell us these stories, and sometimes she'd tell us scary ones like a week ago and all stories, but I don't remember those very much. This one is called The Birds in Wisaki Jack. So I'll just tell it in English briefly and then I'll translate it into Cree. One time Wisaki Jack again was walking through the bush. He was always over the place. And he was walking through the bush and the birds, all of a sudden a bunch of these birds are just laughing and playing in the trees. They were just laughing. They'd fly here, they'd fly there, and they'd laugh. He wondered what they were doing. So, of course, he was curious and he said, "My brothers and sisters, what are you doing?" He said, "You look like you're having so much fun." And they said, "Oh, we are. We're playing a game." And he said, "Can I play too?" And they said, "Sure you can play, but you gotta take your eyeballs out." What we're doing, we're taking our eyeballs out and we throw them as far as we can, then we go find them. The first one to find them wins. So they said, okay, did you have to do that? Okay, he said, I'll do that. And so he took his eyeballs out and he threw them away as far as he could. And of course, that's what they wanted. They wanted him to do that. So after he did that, they laughed and they flew away and left him. You know, he was blind. Now he couldn't find his way around. And he thought, I gotta find a spruce tree. That's the only thing that can help me. So he started walking around, crawling around, and he'd come to a tree. He'd say, are you a spruce tree? And they'd say, no, I'm a poplar. He'd go and find another one. Are you a spruce tree? No, I'm a birch. He'd go to another one, and finally he'd come to the spruce tree. So the spruce tree said, yes, I'm a spruce tree. So he dug around and he found some gum, spruce gum, and he rolled it up and he made eyes for himself. He put them in his eyes and he could see, but they were gummy. So that's why when we wake up in the morning, we have gummy eyes. And that's YSG Jack's story.